Welcome to Prep Rally, brought to you by arpreps.com. I'm your host, Vernon Tarver, with the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Well, we got this show started last week. We were real excited about the first week of high school football season, and we're still real excited because we had a great first week of games, as a lot of teams with new coaches, a lot of games with the local teams taking on some big powerhouse schools in the non-conference games. A lot of big rivalries took place. And there were some surprises, and then there were some games that went as expected. In the 7A West, some big out-of-conference teams came in, challenged our local teams, and let's get right to it, recapping our games in Week 1. You had Bentonville defending, they weren't defending champions, but they were a team that was coming off a big season in the 7A West. They took on Kansas City Rockhurst, went to overtime, and unfortunately for the Tigers, 24-21 loss against a Rockhurst team that was 2-0 coming into the game. Now, this is a unique situation for these Arkansas schools because Missouri had a 2-week advantage on Arkansas teams. They had already played their season opener. They had already actually even played a second game before these Arkansas teams were starting their season. So Rockhurst comes in here, comes away with a hard-fought 24-21 win, and Bentonville is not used to a season-opening loss, but that happened. Almost happened to Fayetteville as well, the defending state champions. Almost got them confused with Bentonville, but Fayetteville's the defending state champions this time, as them and Bentonville have been going back and forth. They hosted Blue Springs, Missouri. Now, Blue Springs, Missouri, a very big powerhouse like Rockhurst up there in Missouri, and they maybe surprised some people how they took Fayetteville down to the wire. But this Blue Springs team, let me tell you, I was the game I was at. They were tough. They were physical. Fayetteville, with new coach Bill Blankenship, was tested the whole way through. Blue Springs kind of reminded me, at least, of a Bentonville-type team. They were very physical. They liked to run the ball. Fayetteville, with Taylor Powell at quarterback, he was challenged. He was rushed all night, and Fayetteville really had to hold on and catch some breaks to get that win. Bill Blankenship, I told you, first-year coach, he spoke with us on his thoughts about his team's first win, and here's Coach Blankenship letting us know what he thought about that hard-fought victory.
Find any way we can to be 1-0. At times I thought our defense played extremely well. At times I thought our offense played extremely well. The problem was we didn't get either one of them to really put the game away. We were really shot ourselves in the foot. The things you fear about first games, the penalties that are self-inflicted, the turnovers early in the game, those are things that always can be deadly, and fortunately we did just enough to overcome it.
Now, you also had in the 7A West, Springdale, big win. Maybe the biggest surprising win of the week was Springdale, 37-30 at Conway. Springdale went to Conway in the playoffs last year, really struggled to even get out of there alive, took a big loss, but they go to Conway and get a win this year. That's probably the biggest uplifting victory for the conference up here is a 37-30 Springdale win. You need to keep an eye out on these Red Dogs. Zach Clark in year 2. The one, that's a statement. The biggest statement, though, is Springdale Harbor. 47-0 is Springdale Harbor's victory over Southside. Now, Springdale Harbor is a team that everybody's keeping an eye on with a great defense, but to do that to a Southside team that a lot of people had pegged as a favorite in the 7A Central, wow. I mean, Harbor's defense is good. We didn't expect it to be like that, to shut out Southside in Week 1, so we're really keeping an eye on Harbor. Some people may even want to peg them as the top team in the state after that. In Rogers, you had Rogers really with a nice 45-9 win over Siloam Springs. In our Pick'em poll, we even had a few of our so-called experts here at the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette that liked Siloam in that game, but that was not the way it went. Great job for the Mounties. Rogers Heritage, Tony Travis, the new coach, they struggled a little bit against a pretty athletic Little Rock Central team, so that's not really unexpected. We'll see if Heritage can bounce back this week. Bentonville West, first game ever for Bentonville West. Brian Pratt and his team goes over to Pryor, Oklahoma. They cannot get the win, and that was another kind of toss-up game. We had some people thinking they were going to go over to Pryor and be successful there. A 33-12 loss. I understand, though, we do have video from Coach Pratt at Bentonville West giving us his thoughts on that game. Let's hear from Coach Pratt and see what he thought about Bentonville West's first game ever in program history.
Brian, the post-game speech spelled out a lot of disappointment on your face right now.
I'm extremely disappointed. You know, you can say we got young kids or whatever, but I just didn't see kids play the way that I wanted them to play. Not the way they've been coached to play. Really disappointed right now in the way we are. And we know we're a young football team, but we got to quit using that as an excuse. We've got to be able to step up and make plays and do the little things right. And as you can tell, you know, we didn't practice like that this last week, and it showed tonight. And you're going to practice like you play. And so I don't got much else to say on that. Just a sloppy game. You've been around us a lot, and probably that's probably the sloppiest we've ever played. And I don't really know why, but we're going to go back to the drawing board and get after it.
Around the other conferences, some big matchups. Prairie Grove, 35-14 over Farmington in a rivalry game. And Prairie Grove probably is going to be right back where they were. They were in the finals last year. They're big, they're strong. Zeke Laird is their new quarterback, and he's a senior. He was making his first start. That was a great first start as they really handed it to Farmington in that first game. You also had Greenland 28-8 over West Fork, another kind of rivalry game, and Greenland was up 28-0 early. You had Shiloh Christian with a 35-22 win. Now, the surprise there was that maybe Shiloh Christian was a 35-22 winner over Elkins in a game they thought maybe it was going to be a little bit easier. I'm saying keep an eye out for Elkins in their conference, as that was actually a pretty strong defeat for Elkins to play Shiloh Christian, a team in a higher classification, as well as they did. So that's some Week 1 games in a recap here on Prep Rally, and we ask you to keep with us. We're going to be here every week. We'll be back Friday looking at Week 2, a great week of games. We're still in the non-conference, but it's probably just as strong a set of games as it was in Week 1. I'm Vernon Tarver, your host. Stay with us. We'll be here all year, and can't wait to keep the season going.